It's with great pleasure I welcome you to the second edition of Halftime NG podcast, coming to you from your number one football website, halftimeng.com. Olawale Adegon still remains my name, Yemi Adesoya. I'm not here in the studios, but I've got Even Dogan this lovely Friday. And Even, it's a pleasure having you in the studios of Halftime NG. You're welcome.
Well, it's a pleasure being here. Thank you very much.
Okay, together we'll be running the show together. We'll be looking at the big games invading Europe this weekend. We've got the London Derby this weekend in England and also the Madrid Derby in Spain. Altogether, we will be rigmaroling and roller coasting the very interesting world of football that we have this weekend. And even, yes, a quick one straight up to the London Derby right there in the English Premier League. It's Spurs against Chelsea. It's two compatriots going for the jugular, talking about Andre Villas-Boas and Jose Mourinho. And you have to admit that, going into this match, words coming from both sides, from both coaches, have suggested that we've got a big game on our hands come Saturday.
Certainly, we have this Saturday, 12:45 p.m. Time it is. I think that Tottenham against Chelsea in the last couple of years, it has grown a bit in terms of the rivalry, given the fact that Tottenham are pushing up for a top four position, and with the quality of signings they've made this season, 2 or 3 years from now, they could be serious challengers to the English Premiership title, where we already have teams like Chelsea, City, and United competing for it year in year. So I think come tomorrow, we're going to see the very best London football has to offer. A lot of issues have gone into this encounter. AVB saying that Jose Mourinho and I cut ties as far back as 2011 when he left Inter Milan, because Jose Mourinho didn't want anyone very, very close to him, where he didn't want anyone to grow ahead of him or under him. So I think AVB has already stoked the fire. Let's see what Mourinho would have to do. The Willian angle as well has been put in this encounter. Most of the Tottenham fans have already started forming chants for the Brazilian who did a medical with Tottenham, but some 2 hours later signed a 5-year deal with Chelsea Football Club. So I think it's going to be an interesting one, a prospective, exciting encounter. If Mata is going to play, that's another thing. But Mourinho in his presser said that Mata has impressed him and is working his way into his heart. So maybe the Spanish number 10 might be included in that game sometime. But I still think that Tottenham have enough in them to at least hold Chelsea to a draw.
And I also want to ask you that who looks good going into this London Derby, because for me, I think it has to be Spurs. In 8, they've conceded only once, and that was in the North London Derby to Arsenal. But you look at Chelsea, who have been suspect, although they've been getting results of recent. But you have to admit that, going forward or even defending Chelsea, have just not caught it for anyone. They haven't been convincing. I get a feeling that Spurs might just be licking their lips at this advantage.
Well, I think Tottenham Hotspur have the best form going into this one. In terms of players who are in form, they have the players, apart from Oscar, who is in form for Chelsea. You can't really pick out one other player who is living up to expectation. But for Tottenham, you look at from the goalkeeping section to the attacking department of the team, everybody is firing on all cylinders. So Goyoris has been massive for them in goal. And the back four of Kyle Walker, Dawson, Vertonghen, and Danny Rose, these guys are considered just one goal all of the season. That speaks volume of how much AVB has really, has really done this defensive Tottenham side. And in front of them, we have Paulinho and sometimes Dembele or Etienne Capoue, who right now is injured. These guys have also put out their defensive shifts. And going forward, what more can you say? Attacking talent all over the park for Tottenham. We have Andros Townsend, we have Christian Eriksen, Gylfi Sigurdsson, who has been fantastic from this season, and Roberto Soldado. The main worry for AVB will be who starts between Soldado and Jermaine Defoe. These guys have been have done their own bits this season, but I think Soldado will start rather in all of the big games they played this season. Soldado looks like the man that AVB trusts the most, and whoever starts between these two, I'm sure they will give a frail Chelsea defense a lot of troubles.
Okay, and another big games coming through from the Barclays Premier League. Aston Villa at Villa Park will welcome Manchester City, who are scoring goals for fun right now. And Christian Benteke is out of that one. That's the big story coming from Villa Park. And it's Sunderland up against the Liverpool. Gustavo Poyet will be in the stand for that one. But most importantly, Simon Mignolet also returns to his former club. And we also have Arsenal taking on Swansea at the Liberty Stadium. Pick off the bunch talking about games coming up this weekend, and also Manchester United will be open to keep on responding to that bashing they got at the Etihad against West Bromwich Albion. A quick break. When we'll come back, we'll find ourselves in Spain, where Gareth Bale is primed up for the Madrid derby. Stay with us. Halftime NG podcast returns. Okay, welcome back. Don't forget to always listen to our Halftime NG podcast. Just visit the website halftimeng.com and click on podcast, and you can always listen to us crisp and clear right there on halftimeng.com. Don't forget, even Dogan is still right here, and even Spain, that's where we are too, and it's all about the Madrid derby. And it has to be said that looking at the form book going into this one, funny enough, or surprise, Atletico Madrid have looked like the better side looking at the form book.
Well, they've been the better side. They don't look like the better side. They're seated joint top with Barcelona, only on goal difference. Real Madrid are somewhere in third, 2 points adrift their City rivals. For Atletico Madrid, the last time this sides met was in sometime May this year, Copa del Rey final. Surprisingly, Atletico took that one by a lone goal, but by 2-1 right there in extra time to go home with the trophy for the first time in a long while, and defeating Madrid after a 14-year wait spanning 25 matches. So I think that Atletico Madrid have eased the pressure off them. The whole pressure now falls on Real Madrid. And you look at the way Diego Simeone's side have lined up this season. They've looked very fluent going forward, and defensively they've looked compact as well. Koke provided 3 of the goals already. Diego Costa scoring. He has scored 5 goals in the league this season, 6 all competitions. He's a man in form, and that is why Victor Del Bosque is doing everything possible to make sure his papers are turned into his passport. End of the day, turns into a Spanish passport, not a Brazilian one, so he can make that trip to World Cup right over there in his own native Brazil. So I think Atletico Madrid have it in them to go over there, and probably, I wouldn't call it a shock if Atletico Madrid get to win the game. I think it will come as a surprise given how they started the season and their kind of talent that parade over there at the Vicente de Calderon Stadium. But for Real Madrid, a lot of pressure. Another incentive is that if they win this encounter, they go above their city rivals and they close that gap between themselves and Barcelona. Any drop points will be seen as a loss, even if it's a draw. But for Gareth Bale coming into this one, we don't know if he's going to be fit. We hear he's going to have a late fitness test, couple of hours before the encounter. Hopefully passes it and he can make his home debut. How much of an influence will he be? I don't think he'll be much of an influence. The go-to man will still be Cristiano Ronaldo. Karim Benzema will need to find his scoring boots if he's to pose a threat to that defense led by Diego Godin. But I think that Real Madrid in recent times have shown that defensively they can be worried. Elche showed that in midweek. It had to take a last-minute penalty from Ronaldo to save Madrid's blushing. This time around, I don't think they're going to be saved.
Okay, even Dogan feels they won't be saved. And we'll see how that happens. Our game coming up on Saturday. And watch out for that one, Madrid derby. Diego Costa, the man to watch, got a brace midweek against Osasuna. And that should be an interesting game to watch out for. And all eyes will also be on Real Madrid. And hopefully they really improve on the performance they brought on against Elche also in midweek. And even you have to agree that in the rest of the other leagues, talking about the German Bundesliga, the French Ligue 1, and also the Italian Serie A, we don't expect nothing much to change right there. Bayern Munich should continue their good form. Schalke hopefully should respond. Dortmund also should get a win. And in Italy, it's all about Milan, still depleted. But they're playing at the Giuseppe Meazza. Hopefully, they'll be fine, in that one. But Napoli also, you think they'll respond after that surprise draw against Sassuolo?
Well, it all depends on how Rafael Benitez and his words go into that game. It's a tricky encounter. Genoa is no place. Even the best of teams in the Serie A, like Juventus and Inter Milan, alongside AC Milan, they don't like going over there because sometimes that place can be tricky, and getting 3 maximum points at the end of the day is more of a do-or-die affair for the Genoa faithful. So I think Napoli have a lot to do. They really through the Serie A early race wide open again with the surprise draw to whipping boy Sassuolo. No one saw that coming, but the good thing about this Napoli side is that they have the players, they have the character, they have the manager that can really turn this kind of fortune around. And against Genoa, I'll be expecting a win, but I won't be surprised if we get one of the shocking results over there coming from the Serie A.
And I also think that we should expect Inter Milan to continue a good run of form. They've been impeccable. They've been imperious. Had to come back against Fiorentina and still got all 3 points. And they will also be getting plenty of goals as expected. But looking at some of the big games to watch out for coming from the Serie A, the Turin Derby, also Torino against Juventus. And Cagliari will take on Inter Milan. And that's an away game for Walter Mazzari's lads. Hellas Verona will take on Livorno in the Battle of the New Boys. Sassuolo, hopefully, I will hope to get their first win of the campaign against Lazio. And Roma, the only team with a 100% record, will take on Bologna. And also, don't forget, Fiorentina and Parma will also be playing. That should be on Monday night. And from the French League, nothing more to expect but see Lorient in action against Marseille, PSG against Toulouse, a tricky tie for PSG, Evian against Bordeaux, Lyon against Lille, Saint-Etienne against Bastia, so will take on Valenciennes, and Reims will take on big boys Monaco. Radamel Falcao scoring in every game as it seems for the Principality side. It's time to go, but even you won't leave us without telling us where we should be expecting our shock of the weekend and also the team we should be watching out for this weekend.
Well, it's quite difficult because you look at all of the teams across Europe playing games this weekend. It's more of a mismatch on paper. But I think AS Monaco, I saw them in midweek. Yes, they won 3-0, but they looked jittery at some point in the encounter. And going all the way to Reims, I think Reims have it in the last season. They shocked PSG. This time around, I think they might do the same to AS Monaco. So I'm expecting my shocker from France, Reims against Monaco. I think they will win. But if it doesn't come from there, Swansea against Arsenal, I give it all to Swansea. I don't see Arsenal coming out of the Liberty Stadium with 3 maximum points. Swansea will take at least 8 points or go home with the 3.
Okay, that's Ivan Dogan telling us we should watch out for action from the Liberty Stadium and also action between Bastia and Monaco. So thank you very much, Ivan Dogan, for being part of Halftime NG podcast. Don't forget to listen to this podcast. Now just visit the website halftimeng.com and click on podcast, and you can hear us, hear the podcast, and always drop your comments if you've got reservations, if you've got comments on any issues we've talked about. I will join you again next week, or join us again next week, Friday, for another edition of Halftime NG podcast on halftimeng.com. Till we catch you then, be safe and God bless.